America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Americans owe that freedom to the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces who have faithfully served our country. I have had many memorable moments in my life, but none was greater than when I had the privilege to serve in the United States Air Force during the Gulf War conflict. I understand many of the issues veterans face when dealing with end-of-life issues. Did you know that over 60% of veterans think the VA will pay for their funeral or cremation service? That's simply not true. And 6 out of 10 veterans also think the VA will provide a free casket for their funeral. This is also not true. In fact, only those members of the U.S. military that are killed while on active duty receive a casket provided by the government. Let's face it, the reality is death is just another part of life, and it's important as a veteran to understand exactly what benefits veterans and their families are entitled to by the VA when that time comes. I believe that every veteran deserves all the benefits they are entitled to, including a funeral or cremation service that gives friends and family the opportunity to honor their sacrifice to our nation's freedom. But knowing what they are and how to get them can sometimes be difficult. That is why, in cooperation and with the endorsement of some of the largest veteran organizations, your local Dignity Memorial providers are pleased to offer you important information about your VA burial benefits and how the Dignity Memorial Funeral Program for eligible veterans can complement the government burial and memorial benefits that all honorably discharged veterans are entitled to. Dignity Memorial is the largest network of funeral, cremation, and cemetery providers in North America. During this brief presentation, we'll review the burial and memorial benefits provided to veterans by the government. We'll also discuss how the Dignity Memorial Funeral Program for veterans can complement the veteran benefits provided by the government. When a death occurs, there are 2 important items that need to be taken care of. First, deciding on the funeral or cremation service. And second, where will the interment be? If a veteran is honorably discharged, they are eligible for various monetary, recognition, and service benefits from the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. In addition, securing government burial benefits requires obtaining, completing, and submitting the appropriate forms and documentation, including discharge papers. Ultimately, the Department of Veterans Affairs will determine the exact benefits to which each veteran is entitled. It is important to remember that many of the larger veteran service organizations have representatives in most veterans hospitals nationwide who are available to help. In addition, any of the Dignity Memorial providers will gladly assist veterans and their families in completing forms and obtaining their government burial and memorial benefits. For those veterans who cannot locate their discharge papers, your Dignity Memorial provider can help request a new copy by submitting Standard Form 180. Your local Dignity Memorial provider will be happy to provide you with a free Veterans Planning Guide that contains all the necessary forms to secure your VA burial benefits. Let's take a look at the government burial and memorial benefits provided to veterans. Any member of the armed forces who is on active duty or has been honorably discharged is entitled to burial in a VA national cemetery. In some cases, spouses and minor dependents are also eligible. Burial in a national cemetery includes, at no cost, a gravesite, as available, the opening and closing of the grave, a grave liner for casketed remains, and a government-issued marker or headstone. Ashes are buried or inurned in VA national cemeteries in the same manner and with the same honors as casketed remains. Maintenance and groundskeeping is provided by the government at all national cemeteries. Burial space has become limited in some national cemeteries throughout the country. However, grave sites cannot be reserved in advance. An allowance from the Department of Veterans Affairs may be available to help pay for services at a private cemetery. Benefits up to a $700 plot allowance and up to $700 towards burial, funeral, or cremation expenses may be available for some veterans who were entitled to receive pension or compensation at the time of passing, or if they were eligible for compensation but for the receipt of military retirement pay. A veteran may also be eligible for an allowance if death occurs in a VA facility, state veterans nursing home, or a nursing home under a VA contract. This allowance may be higher if the death is service-related. Payment of an amount not exceeding $2,000 or the federal death benefit, whichever is greater, may be available if the death is service-connected. This is in lieu of the $700 plot allowance and the $700 basic burial allowance. The VA will also pay the cost of transporting the remains of the deceased to the national cemetery nearest their home that has available space. For the average veteran, there is very limited to no monetary benefits available for a funeral or cremation service, and what is provided is at the discretion of the VA when Form 21530 is submitted. The VA will also provide a government-issued marker or headstone for the grave of any deceased eligible veteran in any cemetery around the world, although the cost of installation is not included. The government does not generally provide a casket unless the death occurs while on active duty. The Department of Defense provides a military funeral honor ceremony for every eligible veteran. The ceremony includes 2 or more uniformed military personnel, at least one of who is a member of the Veterans Service Branch, to play taps and perform the folding and presentation of the United States flag. The Department of Defense requires the funeral director to request honors on behalf of the family. Loved ones of honorably discharged deceased veterans are also eligible to receive a Presidential Memorial Certificate, an engraved certificate signed by the current president. Dignity Memorial providers work in tandem with the VA to assist families of veterans not only with obtaining their government burial and memorial benefits, but also with the rest of the details involved in providing honorable funeral or cremation services for veterans. Remember, these are benefits you are entitled to, but you have to request them. Again, all these forms and more are provided to you and your family at absolutely no charge and are contained in the Veterans Planning Guide offered exclusively by Dignity Memorial providers. In addition to providing excellent service at the time of need, Dignity Memorial will help your survivors long after the funeral or cremation service has ended by providing unique benefits to help families through this often difficult life event. These benefits can include access for 1 year after the service to the 24-hour Compassion Helpline that is staffed with trained grief counselors that can help family members deal with grief and recovery issues. We also offer a comprehensive aftercare planner to help families handle the many important business affairs and letters that must be sent to government agencies, banks, insurance companies, credit card companies, and so on. This tool helps simplify these tasks. When you use a Dignity Memorial provider at the time of need, you will also help your family obtain the American flag for your family. Flag cases are also available.
One of the things that I've learned is that when people don't pre-plan and it's just chaos, and they don't even have time to grieve you because they're so busy trying to take care of all the details that should have been taken care of. And it puts a burden on families. And that's something that you don't want to do. Leave a burden on your family.
For veterans who have the foresight to make their funeral or cremation plans in advance with a provider within Dignity Memorial's North American Funeral Home Network, they allow you to transfer those prearranged funeral or cremation services to any provider within the network when they move more than 75 miles from their current provider. The Dignity Memorial Bereavement Travel Program is also available to help family members make travel arrangements. Dignity Memorial providers are especially committed to veterans and sponsor several programs to honor those men and women who serve and protect our country. Perhaps the most moving of these programs is the Dignity Memorial Vietnam Wall. This 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. has enabled thousands of people across the United States to experience a moving reminder of those who gave their lives in the Vietnam War. Dignity Memorial Providers' Homeless Veterans Burial Program provides dignified burial service for homeless or indigent United States veterans.
And each one of them, to me, is very important because that's my comrade. He's gone through or done for his country. Each one tears me up. I don't care who it is. Got nothing to do with it. But each one of those guys were there for their country.
As you have seen from this short presentation, there is much confusion about VA burial benefits, and I hope we've helped clear up some of that misinformation. It's important to understand what VA burial benefits are available to you and your family. It's also important to understand what options are available for taking care of your funeral or cremation services. Let me assure you, there is no greater gift you can provide to your family than to make your funeral arrangements in advance. After this seminar, I hope you'll take the time to meet privately with a local Dignity Memorial representative to discuss all of your options. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to find that they offer plans to meet every family's budget. Dignity Memorial represents a higher level of funeral care, symbolizing trust, superior quality standards, and attentive care. The 100% service guarantee ensures that your family is completely satisfied.
I feel very honored to be a part of the Dignity Memorial families because of the opportunity I get to serve my veteran families. And veteran families mean so much to me because of all the time I spent in the military. And once you're a veteran forever. We just become one big family. And it's not so much that we all know each other, it's just the fact that we all know that we served our country, and that makes us a close-knit family for life.
The Dignity Memorial Funeral Program for Veterans provides a fitting tribute to those who have sacrificed for this nation's freedom.